Welcome everyone, today we have a new guide for Diablo 4. In this video, knowing that the Diablo 4 launch will be coming very soon, I want to make and also share lots of secret tips and also hidden mechanics with you guys. So here we'll be going through a lot of my tips and also guides from the beta and also shared by the viewers. We'll be looking into a lot of ways of getting additional loots, getting more teleportation point, gambling tricks and also different raids, how to get more months in the game, and also different ways of resetting dungeons, getting more gold in the game, getting more rare items in the game, getting better rolls in the game, and also getting special item that is really good in the game in the launch and also leveling up. So yes guys, I'm quite excited to share this video with you guys because there's a lot of hidden tricks and mechanics in the beta I learned and a lot of you have shared with me, and I really want to share with you guys because this will benefit you into the launch of the game and getting the most out of the game. Now, similar to all of our videos, make sure you check the links in the description for this article. So here what we'll do is, we'll go through the tips and also advices. Now, if you guys do have any other great tips and so, tricks and anything related to the game, let me know in the comments or send me a message on Discord. We'll want to help our community and also get the most out of the game at the launch. Now, before we jump into the tips, there's one thing I want to share with you guys, is that we can start to delete the Diablo server slam beta download, and this is for the beta test. So the developers, Adam Fletcher, has confirmed that you do not need the server slam files, and those are like 20 gigs and plus, right? So if you guys are planning to play the official launch, you do not need those files. So you can save some file space and also some storage for our actual game. And also guys, if this is the case for the beta and also for the launch, when the game comes out with Battle.net, you really want to close Battle.net, then reopen Battle.net if you're planning to start the game at the exact time of the official launch. This is because Battle.net will not allow you to play the game unless you close it and also open it after the launch time. Now let's come over to some of my tips and also hidden mechanics. So one of the first ones I found it to be really helpful and also really powerful in the game during the beta was that you can reset your servers. Because Diablo 4 is kind of like an MMO open world game, you can change different servers, and this will allow you to benefit from resetting the servers to get different locations of random event which you can farm, and also finding a different group for the world boss. Now, a lot of viewers have tried this method, and I'll be finding a good farming spot for you guys to be farming those random events. And this is one of the best ways I was getting a lot of legendaries in the beta, even when the drop rate is so low, or gambling a lot of those legendaries. Now, lots of our viewers were also reporting that they were having difficulty against the world boss, simply because there's not enough people in the group of players in the region. So one of the ways I was doing is I was resetting my servers using teleportation and also the portals and going in and out of the game. And this allows me to find a different group of people for the world boss. Now, in case you guys don't know how to do it, there's two ways of doing this. So the first way is you go log out of your account. So you go to character selection and then log back in. And this will allow you to change your servers. Another way to do this is teleport back to the town and then teleport back. Sometimes you go back to the same server, so keep in mind. And also, if you guys are logging out of the game, be aware the 30-minute potion or elixir you're using will expire after you log out. Now, the next tip is about changing world difficulties. At the start of the game, you'll be from level 1 to level 50, you have two difficulties, world 1 and also world 2. So during the beta, I was getting a hidden drawback because I teleported back to town. I changed the difficulty to 1 just to try things out, and then it took away my town portal. And this wasted me like 5 minutes to run back to the dungeon I was going for, right? Because there's not enough portals. So one of my viewers shared me this post, and if you want to have a look, the links is available over here for the Reddit post that is available over here. So what our friend Don't Lose Focus is saying that there's two ways of changing your world difficulty. One of the ways is what I did, and that's a mistake. So you go to the town statue, you change the world difficulty, and you lose the town portal. The other way is actually exiting the game into character selection and change the difficulty from there. And if you do the second method, you'll be still logging back into a place that is close by to where you logged out. And this is much better than losing the town portal. Now, on the topic of town portals, as you guys know, so here we have a map of the first Nomad. So here we have a map. You know, there's not many town portals in the game, and especially in first act. So what I have and what my friends and me did was, this is a really nice trick if you do have a friend that is playing with you. Now, if you're playing by yourself, might be drawing guild, and you can still use this method. So here's one of my hidden tricks of creating your own portals. Because we can create up to 10 alt accounts, I was able to create a few alt accounts because I had the spare time. And I left one of my alt accounts at the world boss location. So if we come back to the map over here, I'll just quickly go over here, right? You know that the world boss over here is at the Crucible. And to run over there, you have to portal here or portal there. It takes a while to run there, at least like 3 to 5 minutes. So by having one of my alt characters park at the boss location and 3 minutes right before the boss starts, I get my friend first to add the alt character which I log into. I get him to join the group of the alt character and get him to teleport to a friend. So how it works is, if you're in the party of another player and you go back to town, there will be a teleportation portal that leads you to the other player. If you click on the portal and teleport to him, you will be instantly at the location of the other player. And once he jump over, I'll log back onto my main account, then I jump over to him. So this way, both of us jump towards a place we want to go using one alt character. And this is like creating my own town portal, right? Now this is very good because you can use this one like multiple accounts to go to multiple places for different acts, for different world bosses. And this will save you so much time because you don't have to run back and forth. Now, if you guys want to make things even more efficient, what you can do is you can also have an alt character at your main character location. So let's say if I'm doing a quest and there's no portals next to me and I want to go back to this after killing the world boss. So I get an alt character and make sure my friend's alt character come to me first, and then I teleport it and then go back to my alt character. So this way we're using an alt for the location I was in and an alt for the location, I was going. So this way we can teleport back and forth. Now this is just to be efficient. You don't have to do this, of course. Now in one of the first tips, we talk about resetting the events in the game. So here, once you have reset the events a lot and you have been getting a lot of opals, what I recommend is have a look at one of our previous guide videos. So this is one of our previous guide video. I'll have the links available for you guys. So in those videos, what I was talking about is, zooming too much. I was talking about a tips for gambling, and if you want to be gambling for any of your crucial build legendary aspects, you should be focused on each part. So this is because different gear pieces will have different set of availability of the legendary aspects. And just a summary to you guys, if you're going for offensive legendary aspects, you should be gambling on an offhand weapon which have 40 cost if your class have this one. If not, go for the one-handed weapon. And finally, if you're also looking for utility codex, then utility legendary aspects, then you can be gambling on the gloves for 40 cost of opals, and those are the best ways. So you can see some of the rates over here I have highlighted in the previous video. Now similarly, if you guys are gambling for defense items, utility items, mobility and also resource items, gambling for pants, boots and also helmet are the best ways for the best value. And we do have a previous guide which we talk about this, and before the launch and once the launch comes, if the rates and numbers changes, I'll make an update for you guys for the best gambling guide for the most legendaries. Now on the topic of getting more legendaries, at the early stage of the game, you might be finding yourself capped out with opals because you have a 500 or even more than 500 as you open the Lilith statues. So the Whispering Key is an item that you can buy in the gambling shop if you scroll down, and this usually costs 20 opals. Now this could be a potential to help us scale in the late game, because we can be opening chests with levels of 50 or 70 plus, and this can potentially drop higher grade items like Secret and also Ancestral. Now, one of the players were also reporting that they have gotten a drop of like mount mechanics, mount cosmetics or mount skins that was also available. So here is one of the pictures, and this is the Reddit post one of the players told me about. So I did have a look. So if we come over here, the question was about the Whispering Key, right? And here one of the player, their webs. And here Diablo was saying that he was able to get a month skin for going for those chests. So if you guys are not gambling for items at the early game, you can be buying some of those keys and use them for the late game with the potential of getting month skins and also additional items. And of course guys, I will be trying to make a guide to see all the ways of getting more skins and also cosmetics and also months. So the other two ways players have reported of getting those is from the Treasure Goblin and also from the random event from the level 25 stronghold in Call Dragon. Now if you guys haven't subscribed, it is a really good time to do so, because I'll be covering tons of Diablo 4 related topics and also videos and also guides. We'll be looking to the top meta builds, no-meta builds, leveling up, and also Paragon tricks. We're also looking to the latest events and also official updates, and also changes to different characters and also different builds in the game. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also turn the notification on, because a lot of you who are watching the videos have not subscribed. You can see 80% of the viewers who are watching our videos have not subscribed, so make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for the latest update for Diablo 4. Now coming over to our next tip. So this one's pretty straightforward, but this will really help you in early game. So as you play the game, sometimes you get a massive power boost which comes from an amulet that +1 rank to all the skill for a particular tree. And this is especially the case if you get a +1 rank to the last skill tree or the second last skill tree of each of the class. So what I'd recommend is don't sell your amulets too fast, so make sure you have a look at those. And normally after level 35 I believe, you can be starting getting rank +2 items on the normal items. And after level 50 you get rank +3 skills, after level 70 you get rank +4 skills on those special ancestral items. Now, having one of those plus rank skills, even though you haven't unlocked the tree, let's say if with rogue with imbuement spells, even if you have not unlocked the tree, you can still use those spells. It's very important. So you can be using the hotkeys and also assign the spells that is available because of the items, which make you super strong in the early game. Now, next tip is quite interesting. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen this one. We do have a video guide about this as well. So if you haven't, come over to this one and have a look. So what is happening is you can be using exit dungeon and also resetting dungeon trick for multiple ways. To use this one, make sure you press E on your computer with the emote button or with your console devices and then select the exit dungeon. And this will take about 2 seconds to cast. Now by using this method, you actually don't leave a teleportation portal. So I talk about this in the end. So what happens is if you leave the dungeon for about 60 seconds and go back in, the dungeons will usually reset. Sometimes it takes about 90 seconds. And some of the hardcore players were saying that they were trying to use this method to escape from death. But I have not tested this one because I haven't been playing hardcore. Now coming over to the next tip. So one of the things a lot of players and also myself discovered is that you get a lot more gold for selling weapons. So if you're salvaging items, if you're salvaging weapons and also gears, maybe consider selling some of the weapons because they will sell for almost double the price in the store compared to the chest pieces or the helmet. Now if you're really short on gold, it's good to sell those. But in the early game stages, it's also good to salvage those for the late game because you'll be crafting, you'll be enhancing, and also you'll be upgrading. Now one of the most important thing about crafting in a game is about rerolling your rare items before you craft them into legendaries. So you could be crafting your legendary items in the Oculus by giving them legendary affects, whether it's a codex from the dungeons or maybe it's the it's the legendary aspects you extracted from your legendaries. So it is very important, guys, to reroll on the stats of the gear. We'll talk about this very soon about rerolling. So what happens is, as you reroll those stats, you can get a really good stats. Let's say if you go from critical damage at the start, you won't be critting a lot, and going from close damage or range damage, and this can give you a lot more damage. So it's always important, guys, to reroll first on the rare item, then craft them into legendaries. Because once you craft them into legendaries, the reroll cost is so much higher, you actually need the legendary material. So it's not worth it to craft them first, then try to reroll. And just in case, if you're trying to decide which gear to use, always reroll the gear once, because the first cost of rerolling is much lower. Now on the topic of crafting and also rolling for legendaries. So one of the top tips I have is that you can be saving some of your maximum rolls of legendary items. So what I mean by that is, let's use this gear as an example. So notice that there's a function in the game that you can go to options and select advanced options to show the roll range. So notice this will show the roll range of this percentage. It's a little small. So hopefully you guys can see where my mouth is. You can see lucky hit chance up to 3% chance, and this shows this item has a roll of 1.4 to 3%. So using this indicator and also advanced option allows you to see that if you have roll into a legendary aspect, that is roll at the top stats. Now you can be crafting legendary codex with a minimum roll. So if it's a legendary codex of the roll, it's like 1.4, but if you can roll the top roll, it's like 3. So sometimes we want the top rolls, and you can be saving those items for the late game to be crafting. Now, because Diablo gears will come into 3 grades, we actually have a guide video. I'll make a link for you guys to have a look at this one. So they have 3 grades: normal items, secret, and also ancestral. So the initial legendaries you get will probably be on the normal grade. And what that means is you can be trying to craft those items into item that is a little higher level, after level 40 or at level 50. After level 50, you can still get normal grade items, so you can be even crafting those at level 50 or 70. But ideally, you do want to find secret grade of items which are legendaries and use those ones for future crafting. And similarly for level 70 plus, find ancestral items and then craft those onto ancestral items which are rare items or legendary items. Now coming over to our final tip, and I think this one's going to be very interesting and also very special. So as you play the game, and especially during beta, players were able to find named monsters that guarantee a certain drop of a rare item with a very high fixed grade and also stats. So one of the items was one-hand blade, and there's also another item with the one-handed mace. So here are the locations of those named monsters, and I'll show you guys a quick replay video of me finding the monsters and also teaching you guys how to farm it, and you see exactly why. This monster drops a flaming sword called the Dark Blade, and the Dark Blade itself have a really high chance of dropping a really high rank. So back with this item, I was using this one for my rogue. You can see this one have a really high level, and usually it's below level 20 or level 20. It's about level 16 to level 18, and this one have some really good stats for the rogue. So if you guys are going for a certain build, and if you guys want, one-handed weapons, so this is where you find one-hand sword for the rogue and the barbarian. This is where you can find one-hand mace for the classes that can use them, like the barbarians. So yes, and this one's level 35 though. This one's about level 35 or level 25 plus. Now, not only do those monsters drop items with a really good roll that is guaranteed, they also drop those items that is super cheap in crafting. I'm not sure a lot of people mention about this. So during when I was crafting this item, which was dropped over here, notice that usually the enchantment cost for gold is like, 9,000 or 30,000. But this one, after rolling 5 or 6 times, it's still 100 gold. It still costs the, the enchanting material, which we can salvage. But this way, if you get those items from the named monsters, and they're very strong for each of the build that can use them, and then if you reroll into a perfect row of stats, which will be very cheap, this will make you super strong in the early game. And of course guys, this is only for the first map, right? As we go to Act 2, Act 3, as I find more of those monsters, I'll let you guys know to get some massive upgrade to your build and also become super strong with the cheapest rerolling. Now of course guys, keep in mind, this cheap rerolling was in the server slam. I don't know if this was intentional, because notice those weapons actually don't sell much. So notice this weapon was selling for 2 gold. I do think they were scaling the weapon selling cost regarding to the weapon reroll cost. So this could be a hidden trick or hidden mechanics in the game, right? So what that means is, the weapon sells for 2 gold. This is why it's so cheap to reroll it. The first cost rerolling was like 2 gold, second cost was like 10 gold. So I think they are scaling the weapon sell price really low so people can't farm this one and sell them for a lot of gold. But what they forgot is you can actually be crafting this one and getting some perfect rolls because it sells for so low. So this is a bonus to the players that's watching our videos. And lastly, be aware guys, if you're rerolling on a weapon, you cannot be trading this weapon with other players. Now hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Yes, do let me know guys if you have any great method and also tips. Let us know in the comments below, or direct message me through Discord. We do have a Discord link over here, and you can share your tips, your builds with me, and if it's great and we talk about it, we can share with the community as well. And let me know guys, what do you think about those tips and also guides? Which one did you know and which one did you not know? And if you find those helpful, I'll be making more videos related to this one. Now before you go, and if you guys didn't know, we have a new YouTube channel. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and check out the behind the scenes and also fun clips and also more stories about us. And then you get to know me a little more personally instead of just reading the news and also the games, right? So I want to share a little bit more with you guys. So make sure you check this channel out if you're interested about Matt and also Uni. She's really funny too, and she's really shy. So I want to give her a surprise and do a shout out for the new channel to get some subscribers. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time.